In today's video, I'm going to show you guys exactly what you need in order to keep the camera settings you want while taking pictures or filming outside. Now, in my past experience, whenever I'm doing video, I run into this problem more because when you're doing video, you can't really mess with your shutter speed, so that way you keep the natural motion blur. But I've been in scenarios where I'm outside taking pictures and I kind of can just crank my shutter speed all the way up and not really feel any of the repercussions of doing that. Cranking your shutter speed up is going to darken the image and give you a lower exposure, so that does help when it's too bright outside. When you're doing video, you don't have that luxury. You kind of want to keep your shutter speed to match double whatever you're filming in, like 30 frames a second or 60. So if you don't know anything about cameras at all, and this is the first time you got a camera or whatever, basically there's three things you want to look out for. You have your shutter speed, you have your ISO, and you have your aperture. And all three of these work together. I will make another video touching more in depth on these three things, but really quickly, the aperture is how blurry the background is. The depth of field. The lower the aperture, the brighter the image is going to be. So if I'm at a f2.8, it's going to be brighter into my camera than if I'm in an f4, f6, f8. The next way is your shutter speed, how fast your camera is opening and closing. Okay, so as it's closing really slow, these long periods of opening are going to let a lot of sunlight and a lot of light into your lens, into your camera. If it's going like this really fast, your shutter speed is really fast, which is a higher number, then that means there's more times that it's going to be closed, so it's going to be letting in less light. If you're a little bit confused which number on your camera is your shutter speed, it is the fraction. So if you see a fraction, that is your shutter speed. Typically, your shutter speed needs to be double whatever you're filming in. So if you're filming in 30, 24 frames a second, your shutter speed should be around 1/60. If you're filming in 60 frames a second, your shutter speed should be 1/120. Now you will notice changing your shutter speed in your camera will darken the image, and that is because, like I said, it is opening and closing a lot faster, letting in less light. The third thing you need to know is the ISO. ISO is basically the fake light that you can kind of manipulate on your camera. If your image is too dark, you're filming at night, you can bump up your ISO number. Now here's where issues come. Bumping up your ISO will increase noise into your footage or your picture. And if you're wondering why do my pictures have so much noise? Why is my camera not taking the pictures that it should be? It's because of lighting. Now that I briefly touched those three, I will make a video explaining them more, showing them more. I briefly had to explain to you those three things because if you don't know what they are, these are the camera settings that you're going to want to keep in today's video. Let's just say you're outside. You want to keep a nice 2.8 aperture. You want to film in 30 frames a second, which you need to have your shutter speed 1/60 for natural motion blur. You'll notice if it's a really bright day and you're outside, you can't, because the problem is those things create light. So now here is where your problems will be solved. ND filters are filters for your lens that you just twist onto the front of your lens, and boom, they're like sunglasses for your lens. ND filters can vary in how many stops they do, the quality of the glass. I definitely recommend investing well into a good ND filter, especially if you're spending good money on lenses. Lenses are not cheap, and it would be a shame to spend a lot of money on a lens and then buy like a cheap $5, $10 ND filter to put in front of it. I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose. I haven't spent a ton of money on ND filters or on the ND filter. I did get something that had good reviews. It had good product reviews online. I did my research, and that's what today's video is about. Later in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the difference of using an ND filter and not using an ND filter. So make sure you guys stick around for that, so that way you guys can truly see the difference in what they can do. Recently, I acquired this lens right here. This is a Sony FE 70-200mm f2.8 G Master lens. This is the first one. So I'm really happy to add this lens, and I worked really hard for it. The lens that I'm using on now is a Tamron 17-28 f2.8. I've had an ND filter right here. This is a Polar Pro. I've had this ND filter for probably 2 years now. This is an ND16. It literally saves me. I use it every time I film outside. because I got a new lens with a new filter size, we got a new filter today, and that's what this video is going to be focused on. Today's video is going to be about the K&F Concept 77mm putter variable ND filter ND2, ND400, 1 to 9 stops, 28 multi-layer coatings, and this is part of the Nano X series. No way, shape, or form is this a sponsored video. This is just something that I purchased for myself, and I would like to share the information to you guys because for a long time, I had no idea what an ND filter was or what it did. Maybe some of you were wondering, Tommy, why didn't you use the ND filter you already had on your new lens? Well, this lens size is much bigger than the lens size that I had. This is the package that this K&F came in, as you guys saw on my little display plate. When you open it up, you are greeted with this right here. A little bit of gold shine to it. I like it. A little bit of bling. Nice, slick looking case. This actually matches my camera strap, believe it or not. And then you are greeted with your ND filter. ND filter is wrapped in this little plastic, so it is protected because you gotta protect your glass, boy. And don't forget to wipe your glass like you're wiping your... All right, so we got the ND filter here with the little stop switch right there where you can adjust how many stops you want to do. So we have our lens here. Basically, you just take the ND filter and you just righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Okay, now I will show you what that does outside. I don't know if you guys are able to see inside here, but as I turn the stops, it is changing the tint of the ND filter to either darker or brighter. So it's letting in more light or less light. So I doubt you guys are able to see like this, but oh, you can a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, you can kind of see the lens there. And then when I darken it, that is super nice. My other one doesn't have that. You just screw it on and that's it. So that is a nice feature that I'm able to use if I need more light, less light, and we are ready to head outside. I'm currently recording this on my phone because obviously I have my camera in my hand. Do kind of want to get a camera for these behind the scenes videos. Right now we're just using my phone and it's snowing outside. So I have my camera in this waterproof bag so that way it doesn't get messed up. Yeah, so we're outside. I got Duke right here waiting. We're gonna show you guys what these ND filters do. As you can see, the ND filter is screwed onto the front of the camera. So let's jump over to the camera. So as you can see, all I'm doing right now is twisting the ND filter, and you can see basically bringing in or taking out light, and that's actually crazy how nice that is. Like I said, my other ND filter doesn't have that feature. Okay, to show you guys kind of what I was talking about, I was just filming in slow-mo 60 frames a second, which bumped it up to 1/125 shutter speed, which is what I'm in right now. Watch what happens when I switch it to where it should be when I'm filming in 30 frames a second, which I am at currently. Ready? Do you see how much brighter it got? And this is really where I'm at max. I think this is still a little bit too bright. So this is where the slider on the ND filter comes in handy. Make it a little bit darker on the ND filter on these sunglasses. Now I focused this video a lot on ND filters and how they affect video. They also affect pictures too, but like I said, adjusting your shutter speed, a lot of the times having a high shutter speed is what I need, so that way there is no blurry movements in pictures, especially when doing sports. I'm usually at like 1/1000 shutter speed. So usually I don't really have to worry about that because it does make it dark already. These are some pictures that I've taken of Duke using an ND filter on this lens before. But yeah, so it's getting cold right now. My hands are freezing. I need to invest in a good pair of gloves. So let's get inside. Let's get warm. All right, that does it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support on my first video. Like I said, we're ready to grind. We're ready to drop videos, drop some knowledge, drop some inspiration. I'm really excited. I have so many videos, ideas, plans for you guys. This was a fun video. I hope you guys had fun with my dog, Duke. He's crazy outside, and I love taking pictures and video of him. So I guess this was an excuse for that today. Anybody has any questions, feel free. I'll answer every comment down below. If you guys need any tips, I'm going to be dropping this ND filter that I got in the description of the video if you guys want to get the same one as me. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.